Welcome back into the film room, guys. I'm your host, Eric Turner. And as you can see, we have a special guest this week for a quick film breakdown with us here in the film room. And that is Jordan Poyer, starting safety for the Buffalo Bills. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man? Appreciate you having me on.
Not too bad. We're going to make this quick. We're going to get you out of there. I know you got some prep to do. I know you talked about you're already looking forward to the matchup next week. But one thing I want to cover was the game against the Colts and something that, we're probably going to see as Bills fans and analysts against the Bills defense. And Philip Rivers and the Colts offense did a really good job of scheming up concepts that, attack the middle of the field in the short area and the intermediate area. And the two concepts that they used were the mesh concept and the drive concept. And Rivers did a great job of keying in on your guys' defense. And Micah Hyde said after the game that they schemed up and watched a lot of film on you guys really well. And with a veteran quarterback like Rivers, you can expect that he put them in the right plays, and he did. And they used that mesh concept, so several crossers coming over the middle against man coverage. And when you guys were in zone, he picked it apart with the drive concept. So talk about what you guys, from a scheme standpoint or a player standpoint, what you guys can do to improve your defense against those drives. Because late in the fourth quarter, I know Milano kind of got turned around on man coverage versus the mesh concept. Like what things can Milano and you guys at the second level, when you're dropping down in the box, can do to defend those type of routes and concepts?
Yeah, obviously, two of those concepts ran at every level, and you like to be in specific defenses, when
Sure.
both those concepts are ran, but when you're not, talking about the mesh concept, that a lot of communication has to go into that concept, pre-snap and post-snap, and the Colts caught us within a drive with that concept, and was able to hit it a couple times, and so and one time actually 4 touchdowns. So that's the biggest thing. You got to know who's getting cut, who's not getting cut, and just being able to and then the rap being able to communicate
Right.
with both sides. And so and then obviously the drive concept and just being able to whether they do have some action in front of you, whether get up or get set in your spot, to being able to read the quarterback. But then Philip does a good job understanding all levels of the defense. And,
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier, I'm just glad we don't got to play him again, because it's a very, very extremely smart and intelligent quarterback, who's seen all the defenses, and you can feel like you're disguising pretty well, and you probably got to have it in your head that he probably knows what you're in. So it's I'm glad we got a victory, obviously. I'm glad we got a victory, obviously. But yeah, it's something that we'll probably focus on this week, and focus on communicating better.
Yeah, and it's going to be important because you're playing guys like tight ends like Andrews and speedy wide receivers like Marquise Brown, running those short crossing routes. I mean, Rivers did a lot of his damage over the middle of the field in the short area, 78 yards, 10 of 16 in that area, 122 yards, 7 for 7 in the 10 to 19 range over the middle. So, as we talked about, those mesh and drive concepts are something that obviously you guys are going to, work on the communication. And that communication was pretty big in that drive you were talking about between you and Milano, because I know that on the snap, you guys were executing a push call between the tight end and the running back. He pushed the running back out to you because the running back released outside, so he took over the tight end coming across the middle, and then they had another crosser from the other side coming. I believe Taron Johnson was on him, and Milano was a little late on sort of like a banjo coverage, and that's why, guys, communication is so important, because I imagine Milano was supposed to pull off, hand his tight end over to Johnson, and at least keep a lookout to get a piece of the crosser coming from the backside on that touchdown. I believe it was by Pascal, right? So communication is really the key to those type of crossing routes.
That's the main. That's the main thing, from the top to the bottom. All levels of defense. That's the main thing. And I mean, it's not a tough route to stop, but it is if obviously nobody's on the same page, and so everybody on the same page. It's an easy concept to cover.
Right. And so, communication obviously is the number one thing, especially with the defense that you guys play. And, this week we have quite the challenge ahead of you in facing Lamar Jackson. And I thought you guys did a really good job against him in 2019. In 2019, I thought it was a very good team effort to stop him as a rusher. And it really takes all 11 guys when you're talking about having a quarterback with his mobility. And if anyone knows that, it's you. You see it every day at practice with Josh Allen and having to defend all 11 guys on the field. So I'm sure you're going into this game having lost to them in a tight game with sort of a chip on your shoulder, which is nothing new for you, right?
Yeah, man. I was saying earlier, you talk about this. It's a damn good football team. Won at all three phases. But the offense that's hot, and a quarterback that can break a game open at any moment of the game. And so, when you talk about stopping them, it's all 11 guys, like you said, with their eyes right in the right place, and then running to the football, and taking good angles to the football. So, and then huge thing this week I know is going to be said is tackling too.
Yeah.
It's January, it's cold, it's going to be a night game. You might get some snow, so those type of football games that you grow up, you hope you get to play in. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I'm excited.
No, and it's a defensive effort. It's a team effort to stop a guy like that in the run and pass game. But talk about real quick, the type of how you kind of have to be offensive. Like I'm sure defenses, when you play against Lamar, you see a certain formation, a certain alignment, a certain key that tells you, okay, there's likely to be some type of zone read, some type of veer run, power read run. Based on that look, I'm sure Leslie Frazier and his staff and the pro scouts have an idea on different types of alert
Yeah,
type
personnel group.
situations, personnel groupings
Yeah,
that will alert to a run. So talk about how, although you're on defense, that the game plan has to have an aggressive type offensive mindset to stop a guy like Lamar based on, like you said, personnel groupings, formations, alignments, any of those things.
yeah, and I mean, watching the game last night, and then so I watched their game, obviously, to for them to advance. And then as soon as I found out they were watching or that we were playing them, I watched them on the tape from last year, and
Yeah.
they haven't changed. They're still, not saying anything negative, but they haven't changed who they are. Still a lot of the zone read, in critical situations, Lamar's keeping the ball. So it's like I said, it's you have to you do have to have an aggressive mindset, understanding, and personnel groupings, situation of the games, down and distances. I mean, that's all, just your film study throughout the week. I know our coaches do a great job of film study and then putting us in the right positions to be able to do what we have to do in order to win the football game. And so, I'm excited to see our game plan. I have a pretty good idea of, they'll probably call me sometime today and let me know, but I have a pretty good idea of how we're going to attack them. Like you said, you do got to be aggressive. That's what we were last year. We were aggressive when we went at them, and we played well. Like I said, a couple of plays here and there, we left out there, but felt like we could have won the game. And so it'll be a battle this weekend. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited too.
Absolutely, man. We're totally excited. And as always, man, I appreciate you taking some time to jump in the film room with me and break down a couple topics yeah, on your day off, man. I know you just got your lift in, and you only have a few minutes before you jump right back into the film room
Yeah.
again. So I appreciate you taking a few moments, man, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jordan.
All right. Take it easy.